a lot of respect for you. Watch the statement on Channel Television last night. I'm not sure I saw it on Arise. The governor said, and play it back, he said, I'm the governor. Between me and my deputy, we are the only people, two persons in this state who have immunity. We can do anything. And now we show anybody that I'm the governor. I will arrest anybody who do X, Y, Z.
Okay.
He didn't say he will report to police, so he is above the law.
Okay.
Now, when a man says, and he went on, if they want violence, no, listen, if they want violence, we will give them violence. A leader don't talk like that. All he should say is that those merchants of violence, I'm pleading with them, whether they are in my party or they are in another party, they should take it easy.
Okay. Okay.
We don't need blood.
Okay,
we need ballot and PVC on election day. Okay. When a leader on television say we will give, and they were clapping.
Okay. Okay. Your Excellency, I will have to come in here. Enough said about violence. We don't want violence in this election. In all of this, I have not heard too much about the Edo people. What is in it for the Edo people? What are you and Pastor coming to do for the Edo people that has not been done before?
Well, I think this question is unfair. I am not seeking election.
Okay, what is Pastor Eze Yamu going to do?
Wait. Yeah, because you are indirectly trying to make me the issue. I'm not the issue. I have a right, like you have a right, though not through an institution of the media, as a Nigerian, to have a preference. I have expressed my preference. Now, you should ask me what I think this person will do. To say what two of us will do is to mislead the public into thinking we are going to have two governors. There's only one governor. And we have explained the gentleman, Pastor Eze Yamu, on his own, even without any consultation with anybody, and this is the truth, even me, I never saw have any discussion with him, but he has lived in that state, and he has come up with what he called simple agenda. He has presented it by himself to the Edo public. He has explained to it what it represents, and he has spoken to how he will get it done. On the contrary, I also want you to play back Obaseki's speech during the day he flagged off. He said, I'm going to come out with my programs later. Now, gentlemen, do you launch campaign first before you tell the people what you will do later? He only say he will take Edo, he will make Edo industrial hub, magical transformation, without asking the question, how? How is the most important thing Nigeria politicians must be compelled to address. Don't tell us you are going to create air conditioning on our federal highways and local highways without telling us how you are going to get it done and how you are going to fund it.
Comrade, let's
play back, and this is important, that Obaseki, as a city governor, launched his second-term campaign, and on that day he said, I will later come out with my program. Which one should come first?
Well, comrade, let's move beyond the
So on the basis of the simple agenda of Pastor Eze Yamu, it answers the question that you are talking about. Well, and please, this election, I am not a candidate, and I'm not doing anything outside the ordinary. If somebody can come from Port Harcourt and support and endorse Obaseki, somebody can come from Delta and endorse Obaseki, somebody can come from other parts of the states, or in different states, from Sokoto and endorse Obaseki, without even saying what they will do. All they were talking that day was Oshiomhole Godfather. Now, none of them spoke to the issues that matters to the people, namely, will you build more schools for our children? I'm very proud, my comrades on the Arise. Before I became the governor of Edo State, Edo used to be notorious for exam cancellations in our WAEC. Sometimes 30,000, 40,000 cancelled. We changed those guys out of Edo State. Edo became a place where you pay and get the marks you want. By the time I left, from a position of about 26 on the ladder, we came down to 3. The third position in WAEC and second position in NECO. Those shows that our investment in education was working. Pastor spoke at a forum that they will build more schools. more primary schools, more secondary schools, because the basis for upward mobility and sustainable development is skill acquisition. You cannot skill a man who does not have basic education. So I believe that he understands what the challenges are. He lives in the state. He's not like Obaseki, who came from Lagos to do what he did, and he's going to go back to Lagos by the grace of God on November 12th.
Well, Comrade, two quick reactions from our viewers.
Which, in any case, as I know now, even that one collapsed.
Comrade,
he was bankrupt.
Comrade, if I may come in here, two quick reactions from our viewers. Someone sent in a message saying, well, you can't say you know Eze Iyamu based on what you were told about him. He had been chief of staff. He was also at the point SSG, and that he was the director general of your campaign during your second bid for office. And that's not a person you will say you were relying on other people's comments to assess at that time. And that secondly, it's been a few weeks since you left office as chairman of the ruling party, the All Progressives Congress. When you look back now, are there things that you will have done differently?
I think what Pastor wants to do, which he formulated, is not written for him. If it is written for him, you will say, are you sure he believes in it? On my honor, I tell you, I did not consult, nor did he consult with me before he came out with his simple agenda. It is the product of his brain. Having lived in the state, and having been part of APC, and having worked with me before he left, he is familiar with the challenges. And he also knows he has no place to escape to. Government can escape to Lagos and start renew his stockbroking if it is still going to try for him, because he was already bankrupt by the time he left, from the fact available to me now. So what is he needs to do for is a change. Pastor has said he will return to reclaiming the moat. He will fight the erosion problem in Benin and the flooding problem in Benin, and several other things that will make life different.
Hello, comrade. Are you still with us? Hello, comrade. Yes, I had raised two issues in form of reactions by some of our viewers. The first was that you said earlier on that you relied on people's opinion about Pastor Eze Iyamu in 2016. But one person said, look, as far back as the time you were running for your second term in office, he was director general of your campaign. And he had served as chief of staff and also as SSG under your government, and that you couldn't claim that you were relying on other people's opinion. And secondly, it's been weeks since you left as chairman of the APC. Looking back now, the person asked, are there things you could have done differently in terms of reaching compromise with some of the people who were opposed to your chairmanship?
Well, I have spoken to this in my 5 minutes acceptance of the decision to sack the NWC, and of course, which of course put paid and put an end to my chairmanship. I said, I have no regret whatsoever. You know, Adeswa, one thing with Nigerians, the average Nigerians, including people like you who are not in politics, you want a strong leadership. You want things to be done differently. You don't want a situation where few people control our political destiny. Now, in trying to democratize and return the party to the party members, then you have powerful forces, few in number, but access to resources. Who will resist that? Whether anybody appreciates it or not, between President Buhari and myself, we agreed that we must return APC to APC members. And that is why we introduced direct primaries. We produced a membership register. And of course, there were people who were opposed to direct primaries. As a compromise, and this is something I couldn't really speak to, people say, how can you have direct and indirect? Because at the end of the day, some governors say they want indirect. And some of us, the president inclusive, said we want direct. That was why we did direct primaries for the presidency. Because in direct primaries, you can't bribe everybody. But with delegates, you can. So if I were going to return, assuming I was going to return to APC tomorrow as chairman, I will sustain some of those radical measures which some people were not happy about. I do not want a tenure that is not eventful. I want to drive changes. And the slogan of my party is change. If we thought this were perfect, why do we talk about change? We must continue to change the way you do things, continue to improve on them. There's what Obama said. He said, something may not be perfect, but he just liked the word better. If there is any way you can do anything better, just try and do it better. Now, I do not regret the fact that I had the courage, along with my colleagues in the AWC, to disqualify a serving minister who publicly said arrogantly that he didn't do NYSC, and that being a minister is a greater service to the nation than NYSC. You know that NYSC is obligatory, and to default in participating in it, you cannot hold such public office. I am also happy that a governor said to me he is not going to do primaries. So we're in the Southwest. He's going to do his own primaries, even when the constitution of APC is so clear that only the National Working Committee can organize primaries. He went and did his own primaries, announced it by himself. We did our own primaries, and I insisted it's only the one we did in line with the constitution of APC that will be upheld, regardless of the power behind the other guy. And of course, I'm aware that when you stand on powerful toes, of course, they will fight back. But I had no illusion that I was going to be a live chairman. No. The person who invited me to bid for that office was the president. And I thank him for the support he gave me, and he's standing firm. I mean, I thought, as a very sad analyst, Ruben, that you will ask, why I am now in history as the only chairman who 8 ward members out of 24 allegedly suspended me. And that was the basis for removing someone who was elected in a convention of several thousand people. I decided I'm not contesting it because my understanding of loyalty, particularly when you hold office of trust, whatever has happened belongs to the past. And I can't do things differently. Some people say, when you occupy this office, I've seen some analysts say, Comrade ought to know that so people are powerful, so governors are powerful. How can you do what? Are the laws made for the powerless? I do not understand it that way. In any case, from the age of 18, I have been fighting power. If power is abused, I ask God to give me the courage to confront power, possibly to defeat power when it is abused. But some people say, no, if you want to survive, you have to. Why do I want to survive just for survivor's sake? Even when I was earning I was a daily paid worker. I put the job on the line to fight for what I consider to be unjust. But I don't want to discuss, and there will be a day to discuss all of that. But let me assure you, I do not regret anything that we have done, because you cannot change Nigeria without offending powerful people.
Well, thank you very much, Comrade.